Okay, good morning everyone. Today we're going to be looking at using Microsoft Bookings to create appointments. This will be a great program to use for parent-teacher conferences which are coming up. So to get to the Bookings application, you can either go through your Outlook account or you can just go through the Office 365 homepage. If it's the first time that you're logging into Bookings, chances are it's not going to show up on the left-hand side. So what you're going to have to do is click All Apps and then click on Bookings from there. When it's the first time that you're logging in, it'll ask you if you want to add it, and you'll click Yes, and then you'll be brought to a page that looks something like this. It'll ask you also to name your calendar. So for that, just put down your name so that way when parents are making appointments, they'll know that it's you. So when it's time to set up this new page, you will click on Open from the drop-down menu. You can put down a business name, which for mine I just wrote my name and parent-teacher conferences, and you don't have to put down business type. So it'll let you submit that without it, and then you will click on Continue. So there we go. So now I'm going to have a brand new booking page that has been set up after it takes a second to load. So then you have this brand new blank page. You have the ability to add a logo and make things customized and more welcoming. So you have your calendar here, which when people start booking appointments, you will see them, and you have a week view, work week, and a daily view, or a monthly view. So you also have your booking page, which we will come back to later because there's a few things to set up before we get there. So first, you have the Staff tab, and that is where your information is. If you want to edit anything, you'll go back and click on that blue pencil. So it's important that, especially for parent-teacher conferences, under availability, you uncheck this box. Otherwise, you are going to have automatic blocked out times for anything that you have already scheduled on your office calendar. You can also change the automatic hours that show up. So here you can just set it right to the time of parent-teacher conferences. So I know we're going 10:30, and then we're going to have a lunch break. So we're just going to add that lunch break right in here, and you can add in another time segment for Monday for that afternoon portion of parent-teacher conferences as well. And when you're done doing this, it's really important that this is one of the few Office apps that doesn't save automatically. So after you change any setting, you're going to want to make sure that you click on that Save button. It'll always be right at the top of the page. You also have the Services tab. So it defaults to a 1-hour initial consult, but that's not how long most parent-teacher conferences last. So you can change the name, you can add a description, or just totally delete it. You can also change the duration. So for me, it's going to be about a 15-minute time block. Obviously, we don't need a price. And then in this custom field setting, you're going to want to click on Modify. So this is really important because it's here that you can change what information is required for people to give when you are booking these appointments. So you can turn it off so that way they're not required to leave an email. You can make it so it's required that they leave a phone number. If you click on one of these gray boxes and it turns white, that means the parent or your customer won't see it. So if it's gray, if it's dark gray, they'll see it. If it's white, they will not. You also have the option to add a question. So you can add a text question or a drop-down question. So for parent-teacher conferences, you're going to want to know the student's name because you won't always be able to tell that from looking at the parent's name. So you can just type in student's name. Again, click Save. Click it so it turns gray, and then if you check the box, it is required. So here you'll hit OK once you have all that set up, and then click save, and there you go. You have parent-teacher conferences for 15 minutes. So from the booking page tab, this is where you're going to set up your actual booking page that people will go to visit when it's time to schedule the appointment. So it's important that this box is left unchecked, the one that says require a Microsoft account for my organization to book. If that is unchecked, they don't need to log in with a school district login when it's time to book the account. If it is checked, they'll have to log in using their student's account. So you want to leave that blank. Under time increments, ideally you're going to want to have this matched with your appointment length, because otherwise it'll only show the parents a 30-minute block of time when the meeting's only 15 minutes. So if you change that to 15 minutes, you'll see the 15-minute increments. You have options for email notifications, as well as letting people pick a specific person when they're booking. Under availability, you have some options. So bookable when staff are free, not bookable, or set custom hours. So here we're going to check not bookable, and then we're going to go in and add different availability for a date range. So by doing this, we can set it up so that way parents are only able to see the day of parent-teacher conferences. So that's important. They won't be able to book on any Monday. It'll just be that day of parent-teacher conferences. And if your parent-teacher conferences run additional days, you can add more dates there. So once all of your settings are complete, you're going to want to click Save and Publish. So this will give you a link that you can send out in an email or post it to your Teams page to communicate with your parents. You can also click on Open Publish Page, and this will allow you to double check everything. So I have my lunch break in there. So my last appointment's at 1:15. It's a 15-minute appointment, so I got that lunch break. Goes all the way to 6:15 with that appointment, or ending at 6:30. So everything looks good. The email is optional, address is optional, phone number and name are mandatory, and there I have my little question to add the student's name. So once all that's filled out, the parent will be able to click book. You'll get an email notification, and it'll show up in your calendar. So it's quite a few steps, but overall this will be a very effective way of scheduling parent-teacher conferences.